everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and we are ringing in 2024 this week. Can you believe it? Now, with that being said, a reminder that January 1st is a man-made new year, which there's nothing wrong with. But as we look into the astrology this week, if you're feeling a certain type of way, or you still feel like a sleepy kitty or need time to integrate, that is par the course, because Mercury is literally stationing direct on January 1st, and it's going to stay at that 22-degree mark until Friday. So we'll talk about that more in a moment, but it's just a reminder that you get to listen to your body, you get to listen to your intuition and see how you want to move, how you want to act. If you still need time to process, to integrate, to not get hung up on these societal pressures of needing to perform or needing to move or needing to act on a certain timeline. All right. Now, for announcements, I'll have some greater announcements coming down the pipeline, especially next week. Mercury is currently my Time Lord, and I have been getting a lot of rest and preparing and integrating. So as Mercury regains speed, be prepared for more announcements to come. Now, moving on to the greatest victory of the week. I've just been seeing this more of a collective greatest victory with clients that I have been talking to, especially over the past couple of days. But this openness and this willingness to be seen, to be loved, to be admired, to be nurtured. And remember, this is something that's really important. I think that's going to play a big part this week with Mercury stationing direct and squaring Neptune is rewriting the stories, rewriting the beliefs. Because it's one thing for us to be consciously aware of what we want or how we're going to move. But remember, everything starts with the mind. Everything is being controlled by the subconscious mind. So if you're wanting to have these new paradigms, these new beliefs around being seen, you need to make that a priority daily with mantras, with affirmation, with scripting, with visualization, with however it works for you. Just saying it and then not doing any of the follow through is not the vibe. Remember, we're in Capricorn season. This is where we look to long-term results. This is where structure, discipline, obedience is really going to pay off long-term. So I want you to note if you're ready to be seen, to be opened up to more, to be famous, to whatever that is, that's collectively where a lot, or at least what I'm seeing with clients, is coming through a lot more. And that's a beautiful energy because even with the trends that are coming up at the start of this year, especially when Pluto moves into Aquarius, there's going to be a power shift. And so for those of you who have been preparing for this, who have been really building a platform, building the foundation to do good for the collective, this is quite literally your time. There's like that meme with the aliens and they're all like huddling together like, oh, it's so nervous, it's my time. That always reminds me of Pluto and Aquarius, or just Aquarian energy. It's like, yeah, it's your time because these are the people that are going to be empowered. These are the people that are going to be given the resources. And if you're not comfortable being seen, it might just delay that, or you might not feel like you're worthy, or imposter syndrome, whatever these symptoms or manifestations may be. So I'm seeing this as a collective victory. So I really want you to honor that. And if you, whether it's being seen, admired, more power, more fame, whatever you're wanting, start building that into your routine daily, ideally multiple times a day, so it becomes second nature. So there's no doubt that this gets to become a frequency that you comfortably vibrate at. All right. My greatest victory, I went to the optometrist to get everything checked out with my eyes, and Rhonda Byrne, who is the author of The Secret and many books and many new age spirituality texts, she talked about how she cured her vision in a matter of 3 days, how she's like, my body can heal itself. So let's just cure and correct my eyesight. So it's back to 2020. So I remember hearing about this during my spiritual awakening and really learning everything about this. I'm like, okay, so if she has done it, miraculous as it sounds, and it's available to all of us. So I would just get comfortable not wearing my contacts or wearing glasses for the first part of the morning, allowing my eyes to get stronger, knowing that's possible. Every time I would eat like carrots back in the day, I'm like, oh, my eyes getting stronger. This is like eye food. And I had a really good prescription and eye exam 2 years ago in Toronto, and my eyes got stronger significantly. Like they went up a lot, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, that's normal. You're still young." And in my head, I was like, "Yeah, it's true. I am young, and anything is possible." And when I got them checked recently, my eyes got stronger again. So that's definitely a greatest victory for me because I'm like, our body's always listening. Our body can heal miraculously. So no matter what, because I see a lot with clients that they use a disease or an illness as an identity, and they always say, I am this, I am that, whatever it is, like I am nearsighted, farsighted, whatever that is, or if I have bad eyesight. Your body's always listening. And I know that can sound woo-woo, but it's true. And again, if that's your identity, to release that identity is going to be an ego death so that you can claim and to move into further of what you're wanting. So that means a part of you has to die to believe that you can have great eyesight or to be seen or to have more money or whatever it is, right? So I'm emphasizing this point because, like I said, with Mercury stationing direct on Monday, January 1st, this is going to be something where some of you might still be finding your footing with regards to your beliefs and your mindset. So we can see here Monday, January 1st, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We can see that Mercury is still retrograde. It's going to station direct later. I believe it's like 7:30 p.m. Pacific. So as I mentioned before, Mercury is staying at this 22-degree mark until Friday of this week. And that means that it's making the supplied square to Neptune. Now, Mercury in Sagittarius is in a bit of a weakened detriment. Mercury in Sag wants to go for the big picture, these big ideas, these big lofty goals. And some of you might have been feeling with Mars interacting with Mercury retrograde that your wheels were spinning, maybe having doubt. It's like, what if this doesn't work? What if I'm dreaming too big? What if, like really going down that rabbit hole, especially you've been seeing things on social media or online that you're like, I really want that. When is it my time? All of these narratives, right? And I believe I said last week on the week ahead to be mindful and to unplug. So if you all did that, it might have been easier. Why I'm emphasizing this again is because this is a time for you to really go into your mindset, into your beliefs around specifically your dreams and around big picture dreams. Like Sagittarius goes for the big kahuna, so to speak. So this is a time where if you can take time to slow down and to integrate this, and for some of you might feel called to acquire additional support or to give yourself more time being very much strong linked to Capricorn. We are in Capricorn season to make this more of a priority, because if we want something new, you have to literally restructure your mind, restructure your days to engage in different habits, to engage in different ways of thinking for these big ideas, these big dreams to either come to you in a different way or to you simply to allow them in. Now, another energy that we're dealing with on Monday, which is really benevolent and is very on brand for a new year, is this grand Earth trine between the moon in Virgo, Sun in Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus. So with this grand Earth trine, it is likely that you're going to want to get your act together to implement different structures, stabilities, financial means to get everything going. Some of you might be looking at your personal finance, the investments to see how it can take you. Some of you might be wanting to seek further advancements in your career. Some of you are just wanting to look at your body and your overall well-being to amplify that. These are all things that are likely to be taking place in some way, shape, or form. Now, we also have the moon making that applied square to Mercury and an applied opposition to Neptune. So getting grounded in your body is going to help you stay clear-headed. If you're scrolling through social media, if you're out and about, if your nutrition is all over the place, it is likely going to feel more challenging to get everything in order. So I would definitely meditate on Monday. I would journal. I would speak aloud your mantras and affirmations. I would do things that you feel safe and secure in your body. And that can even just be wearing your favorite outfit. That can be going to your favorite part of the city. That could be spending time with a loved one. So you feel grounded and secure in your body to implement these new ideas, to spend time. What would actually be a really good notion on Monday is for you just to take time to isolate and retreat and just be with yourself. If you want to be around people, that's fine. But this is really a good hermit energy, or like the hermit card in tarot, to take time for you and to really get clear on what you want. And some of you might already be feeling this energy, but it's very, very strong on Monday as we start the week. Now, Tuesday, the moon is leaving that opposing energy with Neptune, so things will get easier. But you also have the moon making a square to Mars, and the moon is coming up to this third quarter phase with the sun in Capricorn. So there's going to be likely things that it's kind of what lighting a fire under your booty to get things going or to release certain energies, especially as the moon comes off of that trine with Uranus. It's like these things are not working. Remember, Virgo is a mutable energy. So mutable energy adapts and changes for what is needed. And we have a lot of planets Monday, Tuesday in mutable signs, right? What do we have? 6 in total. So don't be afraid of changing. Please trust your intuition on where you need to pivot for you to feel better. And that would even be a question that you could write down on Tuesday, because I would really very strongly recommend journaling, taking time to script, taking time to use your words this week to get very clear. So Tuesday's question or prompt can be, where do I need to pivot to feel better in my body? Where do I need to pivot to feel more excitement? Where do I need to pivot for me to call in my dreams with ease? That is going to help you take full advantage of this. We also have the moon making this trine to Pluto, which is quite nice. It can almost be seen as a secondary grand Earth trine on Tuesday between the moon in Virgo, Pluto, and Uranus. This is a very wide energy, though, because we only really give Pluto a 3-degree orb. However, how we can use this, given that the moon is still aspecting Pluto and Uranus, is there's going to be change. There's going to be revolutions. This might be an aha moment where you see something in your life and you're like, oh, this just needs to change. And then this is going to unlock a whole bunch of opportunities or some kind of revelation. These revelations or breakthroughs are going to be easier if you're grounded in your body and not allowing your mind to run the show. Part of me thinks as well with this moon square Mars is physical activity to help ground you back in your body, right? And please, 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 proper nutrition Monday and Tuesday. Virgo rules over the digestive system. So if we have this moon square Mars, this could be, let's say, if you overindulged over New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then you feel just gross in your body, this can be physical pain to your GI tract, or pain, like if you're not using this wisely, or avoiding going after your dreams and then eating and drinking things that are just not great. And be careful of other people reaching out, being like, hey, we should go out for drinks. Hey, we should go do this. Is that conducive or not? And that's not just on Tuesday, that's Monday as well. So nutrition is paramount so that you can move through these transits with greater ease. Wednesday, with the moon in Libra, making that square to the sun. What is balanced? What is not? What needs to be shifted to acquire more long-term results? These are things I want you to ask yourself. And also, this is Mars's last day in Sagittarius. And with Venus being here, we've had this major activation in Sagittarius for a few days now, about a week. So I want you to see what you've learned since Mars has been in Sagittarius. I believe Mars entered Sagittarius around American Thanksgiving. So that would have been what, around November 26 or so. So it's been there now for about 5-6 weeks. So what have you learned over this Mars and Sagittarius transit, especially with regards to your mind? Because Mercury and Mars have been interacting a lot during Mars's transit in Sagittarius. So where are you feeling inspired? Where are you feeling motivated? Where do you need to implement this action to move forward so that your actions align with your words? Where do your actions need to align with your words? Where are you feeling imbalanced? And where is that going to allow you to recalibrate, rebalance the scales to create better structures and better long-term energy in your life? And also Wednesday, and this moves into Thursday as well, is that the moon is conjunct the south node. And this is what I was talking about at the start of the breakdown, is that for me, the first week of January still seems like a lot of recalibration, a lot of taking time to pause, taking time to hermit, taking time to get clear. So if you feel called to act, to move forward with vim and vigor, that's fine. I think majority of people are still integrating the holidays, integrating 2023 during this first week of January. And we've been seeing this a lot, right? Ever since the South Node has been in Libra since around mid-July of 2023, that whenever the moon is in Libra, it just makes it that much more obvious what is not aligned, what is not fair, what is not just, what is not balanced. And with the moon here, it could be an energy around a parent, a caregiver, a feminine energy, our own feminine needs, and how we are balancing that with the masculine. This is further amplified because the moon is making that square, a separating square with the sun, and then an applied square with Pluto. So just be mindful of power dynamics and what you want to shift to make yourself feel lighter and easier moving forward. This is also then we see that Mars has entered the sign of Capricorn. Now, Mars has very, very strong dignity in the sign of Capricorn. And we can see that now we have Mars, the Sun, and Pluto all in the sign of Capricorn. Mercury is going to join in about 10 days. What this means is that part of your chart is going to be significantly activated. There's going to be a lot more intensity, excitement, movement, strategy, work, vitality in this part of your life. This can also be an energy where you really want to acquire more power, more prestige, because Mars can be broken down into simply what are you fighting for? What do you want to fight for? What excites you? What motivates you? So having the Sun and Pluto here can be very, very strong. So this is also a reminder on Thursday that it's likely to be very loud, very clear, very obvious. What is not aligned, what has to be let go, or where a conversation needs to be enacted for you to be able to move forward and go after what you want and not feel guilty or embarrassed or like it's obligation. Like these things are going to happen. It's going to be very, very loud. All right. And this is exciting, especially for those of you who have strong Capricorn energy, strong Earth energy, Earth signs, of course, being Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, because then we also see that Mars is now making that applied trine to Jupiter, which just stationed direct December 30th, 31st, depending on your time zone. So this is phenomenal. Like this is applied to everyone. Mars, in its greatest dignity, exalted in Capricorn, making a trine to the greater benefic Pluto. This can be almost like the mindset. I explained this to a client the other day. It's like if you know that you invested $1,000 into the bank and the ROI, like your interest was going to be 100%. It's like, great, whatever you put in between now and the end of January, you're going to make 100% profit on that. You wouldn't doubt it. You wouldn't hesitate going all in or putting any money that you had or working an extra shift to put more money into that deadline so that your money would double. Mars is going to give you that strategy and that foresight to go after these things, especially with regards to earthly realms. So we're talking food, the body, money, expansion of home or land, if you're thinking about that, especially investments, because investments is a very Capricorn principle for me, is that you're looking at things to benefit you over the long term. And then Taurus wants to feel safe and secure, oftentimes through financial means. So this can be an energy where these things are starting to percolate and being like, oh yeah, these are the moves that I want to do. Now, we can still see that Mercury is just coming out that 22nd degree. I'll be moving on Friday. But just be aware that your subconscious, your body, your mind are all reacting to the words that you say, the words you pick up. So this is another reminder as well. Pay attention to what you're taking on in terms of audiobooks, YouTube, social media, conversations with your friends and family. Don't be afraid to correct your friends. And it's not in a way of being rude or dismissive. Of if your friends are saying things that don't make sense and you're nodding along because you don't want to be rude, your body is now saying you're hearing this and you're agreeing. So we're going to agree with you instead of being like, I don't agree. I actually believe this, so that you can see that this new shift in energy or power that you're wanting to accumulate, your body is a very earth substance, right? It helps ground us in this reality, is going to react and respond positively. Or if you're not around people and you just want to take time to hermit, which is a very strong energy this week as well, that you're taking in words, remember, Mercury square Neptune, you're taking in words that are aligned with your greatest dreams and desires. Friday, the moon moves into Scorpio, making that trine to Saturn. And then the moon is also making a nice sextile to Mars. So this can be very strategic, very foresight. We now see Mercury moving on from that 22nd degree finally. And I keep bringing up Mercury, but I've just heard from a lot of clients that they've been in their heads or they're kind of like anxious, excited for what's to come in 2024. So as Mercury is moving on, it's like we might feel like our thoughts are getting more clear, that we're not stuck in a certain limitation. With the moon in Scorpio making that opposition to Jupiter as well, this is where things kind of feel like they are moving in a sense of forward action, forward movement. And it still might seem like this would be a great day to like brainstorm, write intention, goals, to actually go point by point. It's like, I want to lose 5 pounds in the next month. So in order to do that, I need to go to the grocery store on Monday and Thursdays and get really nutritious foods. I'm not going to drink with my friends on Friday night. Instead, I'm going to have soda water. And then I'm going to go to a second spin class on Tuesdays. Like, this is you going point by point and really mapping things out and not just leaving up to chance. Like, both Capricorn and Scorpio are very strategic, very thoughtful, very diligent signs when it comes to that. And then having the moon opposing Jupiter, and while also make it trine to Saturn, it's like, okay, this is the actual structure that we need to allow this to move forward easily. And this energy continues on to Saturday when the moon in Scorpio is now making the sextile to the sun and a trine to Neptune. And this really goes into Sunday as well, because the moon is still finishing up that transit in Scorpio. But Friday, Saturday especially, it's likely that you're really going into the nitty-gritty, the details to see what you need and what you want. Saturday, we have the moon opposing Uranus, which can be, again, a very maybe loud or obvious nod of what your body needs. And please trust your body. When the moon is in Scorpio, it's in a water sign. It will make you that much more intuitive and perceptive to the energy of others. And I often tell clients when they have strong Scorpio energy, it's like you're a natural lie detector where you can sense and feel when things are not right. I mean, animals have it, humans are animals. We have that natural gut instinct, that intuition. It's just a lot of times we get conditioned or made to believe that we have to be nice and dutiful and that we can't act on this intuition. This is just further amplified with the moon making that trine to Neptune, but this can feel uncomfortable, right? That's what I was saying before. When you're going against a deep-rooted subconscious belief, and you're like, no, I want more of this or more of that, the body will be like, that's not safe. And that can feel an energy on Saturday where it's like, I know I want this on a conscious level, but my body is reacting. What is that fear? That can be a good journal prompt on Saturday, is like, what is the fear around pursuing more of my dream, so that you can work through that energy. So when we get to Sunday and the moon is making the sextile to Pluto, then there can be another aha moment or another revelation or more energy that's coming in to bring forth greater clarity. And just my own personal perception, intuition, I feel like when we have that Capricorn new moon on January 11th, that might feel like a real big energy of a new cycle, or where 2024 might feel like the start of a new year. So that's just another timeline for some of you if you want to kind of really maybe goal map or set some intentions. Like, okay, between now and January 11th, I'm going to be dutiful. I'm going to be doing the work so that when we get to that Capricorn new moon, I already have the gas in the car, the snacks ready, the cooler filled with food, so I can move forward on this next stage of my journey, fully equipped, fully ready to succeed. All right. Now, for the astrology question of the week, this comes from Brittany. Hey, Brittany. I was wondering if you knew what natal chart or all natal charts, what is the easiest way to know if you're in a karmic / soulmate / or twin flame union? I looked up online a few things, but wondering if you had any knowledge of this. So we've talked a little bit about this, but I thought this was a good question to identify just to get some clarity, especially with that Mercury square Neptune. Now, if we're talking about karmic relationships from an evolutionary astrology standpoint, you can really look at the lunar nodes, the south node and the north node. So the sign and the house that the south node is in can speak to where maybe you accumulated a lot of past life energy or certain themes that made you feel comfortable. Now, the south node isn't necessarily bad. It's an energy that you feel comfortable and safe in. But the north node is where your soul is like, this is energy I want to accomplish now. This is where I want to succeed. This is where I want to grow. This is where I want to learn more, to expand these lessons and these energies that I maybe didn't get to accomplish in the past. So if you've attracted certain souls in a past life that prohibited you from growing, or there was turbulence, but you never actually severed that energetic cord, then these souls might come back and they feel comfortable. And you're like, oh yeah, this is really nice. But if there's clashes, or if these things that are just not working, or they don't feel like they're fulfilling you at this point in your journey, then that's your decision whether you want to keep enacting these karmic past relationships or not. And let's be clear that these karmic relationships aren't always just about love. These are family, these are friends, these are colleagues. There's many types of karmic relationships. It's just most humans tend to focus on love because we get very much conditioned and brainwashed to feel like those are the only relationships that matter. If you know, you know. Now, I want to share a personal story because I feel like this might help. With regards to my south node, it's in the sign of Cancer. You all know I love Cancers, not just because it's my south node, but also because of the emotional maturity, the intuitive intelligence, the compassion, the care, the love, all the good things that I personally like. So there was a love interest that I met many moons ago that had strong, strong Cancerian energy in their chart. And we hit it off very instantly. But there were just points where I feel personally where it's like, oh, like this is great, this is comfortable, but you're not the one. Like I just knew intuitively in my body that it never worked. And on paper, he was incredible. He was amazing. But there's just something in me that knew I'm like, this isn't someone I want to move forward. And it would be almost uncanny where him or I would either be traveling or in different cities, and then we'd be coming back and we would just bump into each other, or there would be things and circumstances where we would connect again, like after 2, 3 years. I'm like, okay. So for me, it felt very like our souls were just here almost to pat each other on the back. It's like keep going in our desired direction because both of us wanted completely different things. So I'm like, we're not meant to be together. I think it's just our souls' ways of connecting, giving each other that encouragement to then keep going in this soul's trajectory. And that was for me just very clear because every time I tried to force it, I'm like, oh, maybe we can have something more, it never worked. And for me, that felt very karmic and just a way for me to understand. It's like, no, it's just our souls getting to kind of give each other a high five, pat on the back as we move forward in this timeline. Now, with regards to twin flames, this is a very hot topic. I've worked with some clients on this. I also just feel like, is it a twin flame or is it intense Pluto or Venus synastry in the chart? Because I don't think, I personally have not encountered a professional astrologer recounting twin flame synastry in individual charts at all. If any of you watching have a reputable, credible source of a professional astrologer detailing signs of twin flames and markers to look for, I would love to know. And I feel like the community would probably like to have that resource as well. But if you've been watching my content, you usually understand that I like to have certain facts or a bank of resources to prove a certain point about a transit or especially synastry, because like I said, twin flames can be very contentious. And it's also the notion too that you're not complete. Like that can be very dangerous in terms of when people say they're my better half in relation to soulmate. But twin flames, one of the definitions is your soul gets broken in two and then it inhabits two different bodies. So this energy can be very intense. You can learn a lot. They can feel like you've known each other for your entire life. Like I said, with regards to the astrology, that can be a very strong Pluto synastry. So person one's Pluto conjunct person two's Venus, or vice versa. And that can feel so intense. You've never felt this type of chemistry before, that they really challenge you to go deep into your emotions and deep into your recesses. That's Pluto. And I also have found when you're going through a really strong Pluto transit, just individually in your chart. So let's say Pluto is conjunct your ascendant, Pluto is opposing your sun, Pluto is trine your moon, that you might also be going through really intense lessons that your soul needs to go through, because Pluto is all about rebirth. And so if the soul is being reborn over and over and over again, which is also linked to the notion of twin flames, then it would make sense that if you're going through a Pluto transit or Pluto synastry, that it can feel that type of intensity or gravitas. I also find too, when people have strong 12th house energy in their chart or going through a 12th house transit, it can feel like you're experiencing those timelines or able to access the recesses of your subconscious, where all this information is held, not just of this timeline, but all your soul's timelines are held. So that can be also something to check as well, that if you have strong 12th house energy in your natal chart or transits going through your 12th house, that can be an opportunity or a window for you to go deeper into karmic ties, past lives, and soul's connections. But to give one answer on how the synastry might appear for twin flames is the sun and the moon being inverted for the other person. So let's say you are a Leo sun and an Aquarius moon. If you meet someone with an Aquarius sun and a Leo moon, that can be quite literally your soul being mirrored in a way, because your luminaries are being reflected in the other person. So that would be one way that I would say could be a marker of a twin flame type energy. But like I said, I haven't had enough exposure or evidence of clients that I've worked with that have been very confident they found their twin flame and to study their chart. So I can't give a definite answer on that. What I can say from a karmic energy, looking at the nodes, the south node and the north node, not just the sign, but the house. So let's say your south node is in the fifth house. The fifth house can be related to children, creativity, passion, and romance. So maybe in a past life, these are all energies that you really embodied, encompassed. Or maybe you meet someone with children, you're like, oh, like maybe we've had children before. Like maybe you were my child in a past life, but now your north node is in the 11th whole sign house, which has to do with hopes and dreams and large audiences and large groups. So maybe you're looking for someone to build something with, to start a not-for-profit, or to build an empire, or to have a large following. And that is now more of an importance than maybe having kids with someone. So you're like, I'm going to prioritize these things in my life. It's not saying you can't have kids, but someone that is reminding you of a kin-like relationship or something that you've had a child with, that can be an energy that if you have your south node in the fifth, that could be an energy that feels familiar and safe. But then looking at your north node and looking at the sign of your north node, that people that possess that energy, and it could be if the north node is in the 11th, fame, popularity, or just has a lot of great following or wanting to help a lot of people, that could be an energy where you are now emphasizing and wanting to call souls in terms of growing or calling in souls that are matching that energy, or the signs that your nodes are in. So let's just use Aquarius and Leo again. If your north node is in Leo, then you might find people that have planets in Leo or have that Leo energy, very desirable and attractive. And then, like I said, with the twin flames, one way that you can discern that is the sun and moon synastry. But I give that suggestion with a bit of an asterisk to just be mindful that you're not getting all consumed in this, because we've also talked, I feel like you guys appreciate this, but I was like, I just hear it so much in content on social media. I get a lot of DMs and questions about this. So I kind of want to have this as a staple in my content that I can refer back to if people are curious. But trust your intuition. If your body is like, this is a really intense connection that I want to follow, trust in that. But if you're always researching the astrology, trying to make synastry work, or getting so obsessed with the astrology and the synastry and being like, well, look, like their Pluto's conjunct my moon and we have this and we have that. What is your body telling you? Your body's always going to affirm this. And I even talk to astrologers when they're looking at forecasting for big world events and whether they have excitement or anxiety. I was like, sometimes we're not meant to know everything. That's literally why your soul forgets everything as it becomes a human. We weren't meant to know every single step of the way. And how boring would that be, that there's no excitement or there's no preparation, there's no critical thinking involved? Yes, the astrology is a beautiful tool. I will say that every day, all day. But to take away the magic and the nuance of you discovering these things and being able to feel in your body, I think that would be folly. And I think there's great power in building that intuition so that you get to discern for yourself what connections, what opportunities, and what energy is aligned and what is not. And if an astrologer or a spiritual individual is telling you something that does not feel right in your body, including myself, trust that, because your body is going to lead you somewhere else. And I just don't want people to ever abuse the astrology or kind of like keep the astrology hostage and being like, well, you said this synastry or this activation meant a twin flame, that means it has to work. Not always. And like, I want to finish on this and emphasize that I don't think there's enough evidence with the astrology in regards to twin flame synastry to give anyone a definite answer. And I think that was also highlighted in the question of trying to find more information online, because I don't think we've had enough examples of that and true expression, even just a knowing, because even with twin flames, is there a way of truly proving that someone is your twin flame? Maybe, maybe not. And if there isn't enough evidence, we can't give a distinct answer on that. All right. So I'm curious, like I said, if anyone does have a resource or a publication or a trusted paper on soulmates with the astrology, I would love to know more. If anyone has experience with any types of this synastry that I talked about with regards to karmic ties or twin flames, please let me know in the comments. Feel free to share your greatest victories or what you are cultivating and working on this week, as we have a lot of these activations that are coming in that really promote taking time to go within, to be a hermit, to be strategic, as everything is lining up for greater expansion in the days to come. All right. So that's all from me. Have a phenomenal week ahead. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.